Welcome, everyone, to
Hi.
this is our second live Community Connections class since we've only been doing virtual streaming for the last 4 years. So welcome. Hopefully everyone at home is watching and can see us. Hello, welcome to another Community Connections class. My name is Jeremy Capone. For those that don't know me, I am the wellness chef for the Cancer Rehabilitation and Survivorship Program at the Princess Margaret Cancer Center. And I'm joined, this is not Tacoma, I am joined by the amazing registered dietitian, Carmen Moore. She's a registered dietitian from Princess Margaret Cancer Center as well. Welcome, Carmen.
Yes, thank you, Jeremy, for inviting me, and I'm so glad that we're here in person today. As Jeremy mentioned, I am a registered dietitian practicing at the Princess Margaret. I cover the gastrointestinal, genitourinary, sarcoma, and gynecological sites. So it's a lot, but we have a team of really great dietitians, so we may have crossed paths with someone already, or maybe we will in the future. So it's really such a pleasure to be here today and invited to be a part of ELLICSR Kitchen. I do believe we have a very interesting lineup of recipes highlighting bone health, which will be our topic for the day. So Jeremy and I worked on kind of getting some new ingredients into some traditional recipe ideas. Hoping to have a bit of an interactive session, so feel free to ask questions or respond to any questions, even if you're not totally sure of the answer, because none of us are supposed to be experts here, so I guess maybe except for us in our field. But
Yeah. All right. Is everyone ready to get started? We'll jump right into it with the first recipe. All right. Love it. Okay, Carmen, why don't you lead off?
All right, so our first recipe is a comforting cold soup known as Gazpacho. Originating from Spain as a chilled tomato and chilled other vegetable soup. We've incorporated edamame and almonds to make it rich in fiber, protein, and a source of calcium.
Yes. So we're not going traditional. As if you're familiar with some of our previous recipes and a lot of the content we develop, we sort of take inspiration from a lot of the traditional recipes and we try to put a little twist on it. So gazpacho, Spanish soup, chilled soup, like Carmen mentioned. If you've had it before, it is most traditionally made with tomatoes, but you can make it with other produce as well. And as we're sort of exiting, I know it's a sad time for our gardeners out there, but we're sort of exiting our growing season in Ontario or in Canada. We're starting to see other more seasonal fruits and seasonal vegetables appear, and so we wanted to utilize that. So we're going to be using pears for gazpacho. I don't know if anyone's tried a pear gazpacho before. This is my first time making it, so that was a lot of fun. I think it's tasty. We'll see. But what I love about it is again, you're going to see apples and pears right now, right in this time of season. And what we are going to do is make a really simple chilled soup. So we don't have to cook anything, which is nice. We make it very, very simple. Traditionally, you would see a few components in gazpacho that we're going to keep integral to this recipe today as well. So you would often see like almonds and bread, just the inside of the bread, and that would act as sort of like your bulk and your thickener for the soup. And then vinegar or something acidic. So vinegar would usually be used. We're going to be using some lemon today instead of the vinegar to give it that acidity. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we have our pears. Now, I find that this works best with ripe pears. If you're going to use apples, you can use ripe apples as well. They're just softer and they blend a little bit easier. If you have, so the difference being, you can even just tell by the color of these like Bartlett pears. One is like very sort of vibrant green, and one is sort of going into like that greenish yellow territory. This is going to be on the riper side. These would be the ones I want to pick. Or if I left these out even a couple of days, they'll start to ripen and they'll be okay to use as well. So, I thought there was a question. Are we questions over here? Okay, live stream is looking good. All right, so we have our pears. We're going to put in.
So if we're looking for some easy prep, ripe pears, can we use the canned ones or activate some frozen ones for this recipe?
Yes, absolutely. Frozen pears and ripe pears, or the canned pears, work really, really well. And they're softer. They're soft enough, so you don't have to worry about them sort of ripening. You can just use them as is. yeah, that is a great little convenient, little accessible hack there. So we're going to put the pears in. The cucumbers we're going to throw in as well. I'm putting, it's about a cup and a bit. The cucumber, this is going to add a little bit more of that sort of refreshing quality to the soup, which is beautiful. I did peel it. You can leave the peel on. I left the peels on the pears because they break down pretty easily. The peels on the cucumbers don't break down as well, so it's fine. You just might get some like more fibery bits in the soup. So I just peeled it just to get a bit of a smoother consistency in there. And we're gonna add our almonds. This is optional, but like you mentioned, we're adding a bit of extra nutrition here as well, right, with the almonds.
Yeah, so when we're talking about bone health, we're talking about 3 key nutrients for it. I wonder if anyone here has kind of heard about that or can guess what those nutrients might be. Feel free to just shout it out. Yeah.
We have a half hand. Oh, that's just chewing. What do we think? There's like the one that we all grew up with, I think, mostly, that we can remember for bone health. That's the
Calcium, yeah. Calcium's one of them. So calcium is actually highlighted in almonds because they are a source of calcium. And out of the other nut options, like if you're getting a mixed nuts, you're getting the most quantity of calcium in the portion size of almonds. Yeah. The other key nutrients for bone health, so calcium is the mineral, vitamin D is the vitamin, also nicknamed the sunshine vitamin, but we can talk a little bit more about that later on. And then protein actually is another one that plays into bone health. And that's the nutrient that seems to be more of the hot topic these days. We hear a lot about getting protein and what are protein sources and whatnot. And with the edamame and the almonds in this recipe, we are also getting sources of plant-based protein.
awesome. All right, so we have those almonds in there. A little bit of ginger, fresh ginger. I think ginger and pear work really, really well together. You can go garlic as well. Garlic would be more traditional for gazpacho, but I opted for the ginger. So it's not like that combination flavor-wise. So we're gonna go with the ginger, and then we're gonna add a little bit of thyme. Any fresh herbs that you like, you can put in there. So about a teaspoon. You can see I'm just sort of eyeballing this. This is a very easy soup that you can sort of just go by feel. And then we're gonna add, so for that acidity, we're gonna add some lemon. Just giving it a little palm roll, just to make it extra juicy. Break it up a little bit.
From up here, it smells super refreshing. Like it smells like all the different herbs and acid mixing together. And I wonder if this, like, along with the chilledness of it, although temperature-wise outside, it's kind of going up and down temperature-wise, but when we were planning this soup, it was more in the heat of the summer, and this could be a very refreshing option on days where maybe you're not as interested in like having like a warm cooked meal, something that's just ready to go, cool, it's not particularly smelly, or it doesn't take a lot of work to heat up.
Absolutely, I think that's a good idea, like a great point. We think of chilled soup as more of a summer soup, right? It's going to have that nice chilling, that relaxing, cooling effect. But sometimes you may even just require a chilled soup, maybe. So a hot soup, just for those points that you mentioned. Okay, so lemon in there, about a couple tablespoons of the lemon. Then we're going to add the bread. The bread is going to help to thicken it up. If you don't want to use the bread, you can use other things to help to thicken up the soup as well. The almonds will do that, so you can add a little bit more of the almonds. If you wanted other beans, so like cooked beans, like if you want to throw in like a little bit of cooked chickpeas from a can or something like that, or navy beans, that'll also help with the starch from that will also help with the thicken it up as well. But traditionally you would use just the middle, not the outside, and just a few pieces of it. The outside, the crust, you can save for something else, but it won't break down as well. All right, so a few pieces there. And the last thing I'm going to do is add some liquid. Water will just be fine, but the water will start to dilute some of the flavor. So if you want to add a little more flavor, veggie broth would be great. And it's just chilled. It's a chilled veg broth, or even like a little bit of miso. Dissolve it in with some water.
You were telling me earlier that with gazpacho, the flavor actually becomes more enhanced over time.
Yes.
So if you were to keep it in the fridge, like you're meal prepping ahead of time, as the days go by, you're drinking it the next day, it might be even more flavorful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the next day this would be absolutely fantastic. You can definitely enjoy it the day of as you make it, but those flavors start to sort of harmonize a bit. They start to come together, and they're really, really nice the next day. Now, it's a little pinch of salt. Don't need too much because my veg broth does have a little bit of salt in it. And we're going to go ahead and blend this. We'll get a little loud. Apologize. It's going to have a tablespoon of olive oil. That's pretty much it. So it's essentially like a veggie smoothie, but because of the pears, we're sort of in between. We're splitting the difference there, but you're gonna have more of like that sweet and savory, more on the savory side because the pears aren't super sweet. That's pretty much it. Now this I would chill. Put this in the fridge, let it chill. Even if you can chill it for an hour, you're gonna notice a big difference with the flavors. But like we said, the next day, it would improve as well. So we have one. Do a little
magic of television, yeah.
Alright. So I'll show. Let's see if I can master this camera zoom here. There we go. Alright. So we have this nice chilled soup, and pears will have a little bit of a sort of gritty texture to it. This is naturally the way it is with the pears, but with the addition of the almonds and the bread, and as it sits, it helps to smoothen it out a bit. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with. Let's try. All right. So we have our bowl, and ladle this in. So again, super refreshing on the warm days, but even during the cooler months inside, it's just super nice and refreshing. Okay, so the soup is done. Now for a little addition, a little topper. Edamame.
Edamame, yes.
Yes. So we're going to be using a little bit of edamame here.
Edamame is actually a kind of bean that comes from the soybean plant. It is a good source of plant-based protein. It's got the fiber, and of course for today, for bone health, we're talking about calcium. In about a half cup actually size of edamame, you can get a very excellent source of calcium, up to 14%, which is among all the beans a relatively high amount. And so if you're someone who is following a vegetarian diet or just enjoy plant-based proteins more, this would be one way to get all of those nutrients in one little package.
Yeah, I love this. And they sell them frozen now, so they're super, super easy. You treat them like you would frozen peas. Exactly the same thing. So you can add them to some boiling water for like a couple minutes and then strain them and they're ready to use. You can use other beans as well, right?
Yes.
I think it was navy beans.
White beans are another option that are a good source of calcium. Other beans have some as well, but when we're thinking about kind of maximizing on those, it would be edamame is so valuable for that.
Love it. Okay, so these are some edamame, just quickly cooked, a little bit of boiling water and drained. And then I have some onion here that I'll add, just like finely chopped. This is optional. You can add, a little bit of extra ginger if you'd like to this. I'm just looking to see what I have left over on my plate here. We have some thyme. Yeah, I'll throw that in. A little bit of thyme. A little bit of olive oil. It's a very slow pour on this bottle. It looks like I'm adding a lot.
Yeah, just.
Just throw away.
But there's no problem with that.
Yes. Yeah, we like it all. And a little pinch of salt. And we'll stir that up. And this is going to add some really nice texture to the soup. But if we're looking at appearance as well, I think it's a really, really nice pop.
You have a lot of colors going on there.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
A little bit of that edamame on top. Some of it will sink. Want a little bit to float. And that is the soup. So I'm going to do my best to zoom in here without spilling it too much. Well, we'll tilt it a bit. There we go. That's our pear gazpacho with our little edamame topper there.